sports talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now, let's talk about some heavyweights. Now, we got the top four. Now, I'm going to say the top four, even though I don't really believe that, but I'm going to say the top four. You got Alexander Usyk, who's the living legend, right? We've talked about why in every video. I have to say his name. Alexander Usyk, a living legend, has nothing to do with the war in Ukraine right now. We know Ukraine bring the pain and all that, and it's plain. I say that. But it's for a guy who becomes undisputed and fights in everybody else's backyard. That's just unprecedented. It really, really is. So we have to give him that. And, hey, moves up to heavyweight and takes 3 belts from Anthony Joshua. And he wants to get undisputed. Remember when Tyson Fury said he might fight him? What did he say? Okay, right? He ain't no nothing, right? So Alexander Usyk, to me, is the baddest dude out there, right? He's going to fight Anthony Joshua in a rematch, So those are 2 of the top 4 for sure. And Tyson Fury, who many would say number one, will fight, Dillian White, who I'm reluctant to put as the top 4. He can't just be getting knocked out by Povetkin and then just come and beat somebody else, beat Povetkin, and then all of a sudden you still number 4. But okay, everybody can lose. No big deal there. So, 4, arguably, top 4, right? Deontay Wilder's on the sideline, probably won't fight again, which I have no issue with, right? If you ain't going to be treated fair, then go ahead and whatever, right? Got enough money. So the top 4. So you got those other ones that we know is right there. And Joseph Parker's definitely one of them, right? Right there. And the guy that he's supposed to fight is even ahead of him. Number 1 from the WBO, and that'll be Joe Joyce. We talked about it a few weeks ago, baby. Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker is getting a little bit closer. They're starting to agree with things, and word has it that they are very close to signing for a fight, and I really think they should for both of these guys' careers because, when those 2 other fights happen, those scenarios, you know how fights are, and then, something happened. It's almost like the WWE. When the dudes be wrestling and we know that everything's scripted and every fight ends the same. The dude's winning and he turns around to argue with somebody on the side and he gets hit with something, a chair or something, boom. It's almost the same thing. So bottom line is, who knows what the scenario is going to be when Tyson Fury fights your boy Dillian White and it's close or something, something happens and they have to have a rematch. Or Joshua and Usyk or something. You never know, right? So in the meantime, to have very significant fights, it's good for Joe Joyce, right? And it's good for Joseph Parker. They're number 1 and number 2 from the WBO, and I think they should have it. It's going to be a hard fight. We'll talk about that more when we get to it. But I do like the fact that it's about to happen. I think both camps are to the point now where they're like, we're not going to get the other guys right now, right? And we need to stay busy. We need to stay in focus. We need to say everybody needs to know who the hell we are. And listen, let's be real here. The winner of Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker has massive momentum. I mean, really. No matter what scenario, who you're for, or whatever, right? And I like when it comes to Anthony Joshua, remember Anthony Joshua was saying he might fight somebody in the interim, but I think Anthony Joshua would rather fight Alexander Usyk because he's probably not going to get hurt. No matter what happens, he probably won't get hurt. That's why with Joe Joyce, trying to beat on Joe Joyce's big head the whole fight, and Joe Joyce is going to probably catch up to Joshua. I think Joe Joyce beats him, and I think that Luis Ortiz beats Joshua too. With Joseph Parker, I think this Joseph Parker, if Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua fought right now, I would bet on Joseph Parker like I did on the first fight. I damn near got paid. I put a lot on Joseph Parker on that first fight because it was 8-1 odds. I never forget it. 8-1 odds. I'm like, Joshua ain't no 8-1 better than no damn Joseph Parker. So I put some money on it. Didn't win. I hedged it though. So I broke a little bit over even, right? Because I hedged it with something. I forgot what I hedged it with. But at the end of the day, I was going with JP. I rolled with Joe. It is what it is. I think he's a good heavyweight. He's one of the better heavyweights, if not one of the best heavyweights. But, people that don't roll with Joe are going to be like, well, prove it, dude. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be in here, doing a Daniel Jacobs, who we consider to be one of the better ones. But, when you get in the big fights, let them hands go. Daniel Jacobs, they did the same thing when he fought Canelo and Gennady Golovkin. He beat Gennady Golovkin, in my opinion. but and got very close. I had him one round. I had him beating Canelo as well. But sometimes you gotta, when you're not the house fighter, you better do a little bit extra. And Joseph Parker has similar. He's not been blown out of any fights. Can anybody categorically say Dillian White beat the hell out of Joseph Parker? Hell no, you can't. Anthony Joshua beat the hell out of Joseph Parker? Hell no, you can't. Joseph Parker could have done a little bit more, seeing as though he was fighting in their hometown. That's what that is. So I think Joseph Parker would learn from that. That's why I would say Joseph Parker beats Anthony Joshua too right now. But we'd have to see all that. That's just me. I'm biased. I roll with Joe a little bit. At the end of the day, though, we, as fans, might get another fight with two more of the top 10 heavyweights facing off. And I think, and I hope, that happens now. Because everything else really isn't significant. And I think both of these guys need to be in a significant fight in the next fight, and don't do an auto wallet and fight somebody, 11-23 or something. You know what I mean? Stay busy with significant fights, and then towards the end of the year, they might be in a championship fight. You see what I'm saying? Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.